Alex G, God Save the Animals, album review, let's chat about it. Hey friends, what's going on? John here from What's Spinning, here tonight to chat about this latest album from Alex G, indie darling and lonely soul. For years, he ruled the likes of the Bandcamp platform with releases that were crowd favorites and critical darlings like Rules and Trick and DSU, which I did enjoy from afar. If any, Alex G tracks from these albums came up in my shuffle, I certainly would not skip over them, but I enjoyed them very much from afar. I didn't obsess over them. I wasn't going gaga for them. It wasn't until he started blowing up with his more modern releases that I became a true Blue fan, like his work on Rocket. This is the first album from him that really just blew my mind from start to finish. The songwriting, his singing, the wild clash of styles as well made this one of the best albums of the year for me. And shortly after, he released House of Sugar, which I thought was even better. Once again, one of my favorite albums of the year. I praised it until the cows came home, and I swear that I've only enjoyed it more over time, which leads me to this new album, God Save the Animals. And I'm going to be honest with you, the singles to this album leading up to it, they took me a lot longer to enjoy than they usually do with an Alex G album, but let's chat about it. This album starts off with After All, and truthfully, I can't say no to this as an intro. It's just so warm and fuzzy, but as inviting as it is, it's a little chilly at times. It's perfect for, like, the fall season. And at first, Alex's heavily vocal, effect-drenched vocals here, honestly, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but they melt right into this very silky instrumental. I honestly can't think of a much better way for him to start an album right now. Then we have Runner, which is easily the best track here. It was my favorite single leading up to it. It's just an awesome track. I love the rustic instrumental and his bluesy vocals. It's just so easy to get lost in this track. It's so hazy and so meditative. And, I was thinking about this a few days ago, and I stand by it. This set of tracks here may very well be Alex's most heartbroken to date, and that is saying something, but I stand by it. Mission, on the other hand, is just so silky smooth and pleasant on the ears. I mean, Alex's vocals on this track just tug at all of my heartstrings. Now, I will say this. If you are usually not into Alex's very downtrodden, sad, heartbroken ballads, this album is probably not going to be the one to win you over. But I really do love the rainy day vibes of this track, and Molly Germer on this hook actually adds a lot to this track. S.D.O.S is an odd one, but on an Alex G album, you are always going to hear some tricks that, some real left field hooks, and most of them, usually are pretty exciting, and this is no different. This track is hazy and strange with Alex's vocals reversed to this gurgling sound. It's weird and it's meditative and it's sort of hypnotic at times as well. It's very easy to get lost in with just how weird it is. But while we have all these odd elements, everything comes together pretty nicely. Then we have No Bitterness, and I have to take a second to just kind of point out, this is one of Alex's more stripped down albums in a while. This is not as glistening as House of Sugar. It's very DIY, but on the other hand, on the complete opposite side of the spectrum, I love his vocals on this track, which, kind of go inside with a lot of the sad boy R&B that's going around right now, Joji. But it also really works with Alex's style. It just seems to have come very naturally to him. And that, alongside of a nice, very strummed instrumental and a very pleasant riff, that just makes for a really nice listen. But then this track picks up in its second half to a much more upbeat, electronically tinged track, and it gets pretty wild. It's an eclectic listen, as it usually is with Alex G albums, but I do like that a lot. And Cross the Sea hit me right in the feels. This is a heavenly, breezy, and very downtrodden track, and Alex's dual vocals on this tune are an absolute, just really great aspect. It makes things sound even more heartbroken, more human, and that, alongside this very synthetic, off-kilter instrumental, makes things pop really hard. This album overall is just another very solid album from Alex G. Now, I will say this. I'm sorry, you may not agree with me. I prefer Rocket still, and I prefer House of Sugar. There are a few tracks on this album that just don't hit home with me. Ain't It Easy is certainly one of them. I've been using this phrase a lot lately, but this literally sounds like an AI tried to put together an Alex G track, but didn't even do a very good job of it. This is easily the most average and faceless track here, and Early Morning Waiting is Wow. Unbearably bad. By far the worst track here. We have this ho-hum goofball indie pop instrumental that has no edge to it whatsoever. And because of that, the rest of this track falls apart so quickly. Alex's vocals do not sound invested in this track at all. It's surprisingly scatterbrained. Meh. And Headroom Piano, I just think it's a little bit too much of a stretch. Like I said earlier, on an Alex G album, you're always going to get a couple of curveballs, a couple of really left hooks to the experimental. That's what this is. But this just kind of comes off like Alex trying to be odd for the sake of being odd. It sounds like a sound collage. Not like there's anything wrong with that, but I just know he's capable of doing so much more. But outside of that, while this is still maybe not my favorite thing Alex has done in the last few years, the guy's so consistent. Blessing is just one of those tracks where Alex just pushes himself as hard as he can. This track is an odd one with some off-kilter grooves, noisy production, as well as these vocals that are pretty damn tortured. We also get these synths that seem ripped right out of the book of John Carpenter. It's campy, it's strange, but it works and I can't look away. Immunity, on the other hand, is one of the most alien and strange sounding tracks here. It's got this great strummed riff, these big piano power chords, and his vocals. While this is one of his weirder, more alien performances, there is a little bit of human left right inside, and that's what makes it hit hard. This track is simultaneously silky and airy and light, but it's also perfect for a rainy day or a breezy fall afternoon. It's beautiful, and I commend this risk of a track. And Miracles, at first, as a single, I wasn't buying it. I just was not feeling it. My notes were literally, okay, another Alex G folky jam. We have 4 of those on here. But you know what? The alt-country vibes of this track got me back to like the days of Bobby on Rocket and has won my heart. It's so beautiful, and in these alt-country vibes, Alex just comes off so heartfelt. And at this point, I can't say no to Forgive as a finale. I mean, I actually love when Alex gets a little rustic. It brings out this bluesy element in his voice that I can't say no to. And once again, we do get some plucked sort of alt-country guitars on this track. Not going to be for everyone. And, you know, I do have to take a second to point out here, a lot of the lyrics on this album are very gutsy, very, you know, raw, very, really personal for Alex as well. And I don't think it's getting more personal than this track as a finale. So yeah, I don't think this is as good as Rocket and House of Sugar. That's just my opinion. But the fact of the matter is, Alex G's on a roll right now. He's one of the more consistent acts in modern indie. And this is another great collection of songs from him. And yes, there are some really bad tracks on here. But overall, I can't say no to so much of this. He's such a great songwriter. His performances are really electric. I love just the great feeling I get from this album. I'm feeling a light 8 on this album, but let me know what you all think down below. If you like the video, be sure to give us a like, give us a subscribe, and let me know down below what you would like for me to chat about in the future. And until next time, have a great day, friends.